everyone, it's Albie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be going over my book review of Morbidly Yours by Ivy Fairbanks. It was truly wonderful. It was a really special book to me, so I'm excited to share my thoughts on it. So it is a modern rom-com. It's set in, I think, Galway, Ireland. I kind of forgot. I'm pretty sure it's Galway. Pretty sure. But it's set in modern day Ireland. Our heroine is a recent widow. Unfortunately, she lost her husband, Reese, about two and a half years prior to the book. So she's sort of like trying to refigure out her life, and she moves from her, I think, Austin, Texas to Ireland in pursuit of a really cool job. She is an artist, and she's kind of working for like a Disney Pixar equivalent in Ireland. I'm not sure if it's a real company or not, but it sounded really cool. So she works as an illustrator, making cartoons for kids and stuff. So that was a really cool job, honestly. It sounded really fun. And she meets her pseudo neighbor. They're not like roommate neighbors, but like next door neighbor, Callum, and he is a mortician. So it's kind of got a little bit of dark humor in it, but not a dark romance. I had some really cool representation. We had, a widow heroine, which I really enjoy widow heroine romances. I've read quite a few. If y'all remember back early in my channel, just on a whim, I think I read 3 widow romances in a row. I think I read A Duke Worth Fighting For by Christina Britton, and then I read From Scratch by Timbe Locke, who that's like a Reese Witherspoon book, and then I read Cold Hearted Rake by Lisa Kleypas, and all 3 of those are widows. It was so random. Oh, and then I think the 4th one was like When He Was Wicked by Julia Quinn, so I read like 4 in a row. So I really love widow romances. I'm not quite sure why. It's just like one of my favorite tropes. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, check mark. And then it has like Grumpy Sunshine. We have a hero who is demisexual, so sort of on the asexual spectrum. I'm not sure if it was ever labeled or talked about, but Callum to me also seemed a little neurodivergent. I'm not sure if that was a trope. I'd have to check, but he just read a little neurodivergent, which was really cool to see as a hero. The only time I've ever read of a character that has that, it's not really talked about, but was Lisbeth Salander in the Millennium series, specifically the original trilogy by I said Lars Van Trier, but that's the director. I can't think of his name. He's passed away. But the girl with the dragon tattoo, the girl who played with fire, and the girl who kicked the hornet's nest. So the original 3 Lisbeth Salander books. So Lisbeth Salander is autistic or has Asperger's. So it was cool to have like a hero with that representation. And also what was really interesting was how Ivy Fairbanks wrote. You were sort of in the head or the headspace of that character. So not only was it like each chapter was like Lark and then Callum, but like you kind of felt like how they process stuff. And so when we had a chapter with Callum, the chapters were sort of like him dissecting the information that was given. At least that's how I read it. I don't know. I might read into stuff a little more than other people, but I just found that really fascinating. So we had a really cool hero, a really fun heroine, and the romance was just so good. It was a slow burn, but it wasn't slow. So like there's interest between both characters, and they start off as friends, and they actually transition that into friends with benefits, but not in like a grotesque way. It's more so like they're low-key already falling for each other when they set this up. And like there's even like when they set up the rules for engaging in a sexual relationship without strings, there's already strings, and you feel pining between both of them. So I call it, I think I even said in my notes, like it's a slow burn with a lot of mutual pining. So that makes it really fun. I don't like a slow burn where it's like enemies to lovers, or a slow burn where it's like friends, where they really are just friends. I don't like that. It just drags on forever. This is like slow burn, but they're like into each other from the beginning. So even though Callum is demisexual, he's not like, I don't know how to describe it, because this is my first time reading a book with that representation. So it wasn't like he purposely, it wasn't like he was sexually frigid or anything, which I think is a common misconception, that if you are demisexual or asexual, that you're just like completely, your sexual response is dead or whatever. I think that's a common mistake that people have about someone that has asexuality or demisexual, that they have like no sexual response or yearning or craving. So I thought that was also important to have represented, that even though this character isn't actively engaging in adult stuff, it doesn't mean they don't want it or don't want to experience that someday. So I wasn't fully sure in my notes if the hero, Callum, was a virgin or not. I think he was, but it was never explicitly said to me. So sometimes when it's a little gray area like that, I don't know where to go with it. But yeah, I think he was. But this book was a 6-star. Like I said, the romance was just so pure and raw and honest. The book almost had me crying, and I am not an easy crier at all. We had, just a really lovely story. We had a heroine who was trying to navigate her life, not only in like the workplace, but in a romantic spot. In like, she had some guilt, and she had some, I'm not sure what to do. Should I stay friends? I don't want to lose Callum because he's a really great guy. He's great to have camaraderie with, if anything. And like when they make up their rules for having a friends with benefits, they're like, we have to stay friends. We can't have this tear us apart as our friendship, because they have a really strong friendship. But it's also, like I said, a lot of pining along the way, but not like annoying. I was like, oh, I want you. It's just like they like each other. So just an auto buy. This book was so good. I'm already planning on gifting it to some family members for Christmas. This author is an auto buy for me from now on. This is her debut. I can't believe how good it was. It was just amazing. I mean, I will say, if you are a fan of I've read the book and seen the movie, but this is a little closer to like the movie. It's so weird. If you've read or seen Silver Linings Playbook, the book is by Matthew Quick. The movie is Jennifer Lawrence and Bradley Cooper. Can't remember the director. In that book, she's or book and movie, Jennifer Lawrence is a widow. It kind of has a little bit of that, with Pat. I think his name was Pat, and Jennifer Lawrence. But if you like that movie, you're really gonna like this book, because it wasn't like they mirrored each other, but it just kind of had a similar vibe, if you will. So if you like Silver Linings Playbook, you're really gonna like this book as well. Yeah, I don't want to give too many things away, but just a really lovely novel. It was romantic, it was spicy, it was really sweet. It just, some parts just almost tore your heart out. It was just so romantic. I mean, I literally have screenshots of lines that I want to just keep and remember forever. It was just so, it was almost wholesome and so innocent, especially with Callum. It was this raw love like he's never felt love before, and he might not have really. He has some problems with his father. There's actually kind of a modern day marriage of convenience trope that goes along with the book. It's not something that necessarily moves the romance forward, but it's kind of lurking in the background. In order for Callum to keep his property and like keep the mortuary business, he has to be married by 35, and he's 34 years old in 3 months when the book starts, so he's got 9 months to find a wife. But that isn't what turns the clock in the story, so to speak. But it was still really cool to have that. It's a cool time, but it was really interesting to have that trope, which is typically reserved for, I would say, mostly for like historicals or like marriage of convenience. You could do like a green card romance, or I think you kind of had that with the Tessa Bailey, Unfortunately Yours aspect. But this one was really cool. So I don't know Irish laws. Like I said cool so much. I'm sorry. I don't know Irish laws, but like it seemed he had to follow this rule. So very interesting. Ivy Fairbanks, wonderful. I just love this book so much. I've gabbed on way too much. There are some content warnings. They are listed in the book. I wrote down talk of death. So like there's a mortician hero, so he kind of does his job, so that's something. It's nothing grotesque, but there's death of spouse, death of friend, and workplace drama. I don't want to give too much away, but there might be more as well. So sorry, I'm like super dry. But check your content warnings if you need to, if that's something you really need to look into before reading. There's the ones that I noted, but there's also more. Yeah, that's all I want to say. I love the book. 6 stars. Not only is it probably going to be my favorite book of the year, this is a 6-star like permanent. Like this is in my top books of all time I've read. It was that good. Literally. It's $4.99 to get the ebook. So where I live, a hamburger Happy Meal is $4.89. So Happy Meal with tax, you've got this book. So yeah, wonderful book. It was a great time reading it, and I really look forward to seeing what Ivy Fairbanks has next in store. Well, everyone, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment, and I will see y'all soon for another video. Bye, everyone.